Sarah keeps us in line. She's the one that's got the ruler. Did you go to Catholic school and learn that from the nuns?
I went to a Lutheran school. Does that count?
Same thing. All right. Share
I
this.
went to Catholic school. That's why I hate women. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's see. All right. This will only take a second. Here we go. All right. Okay, we should officially be live now.
Yeah, I'm saying
Metal
up here,
Buddies Live.
I'm on Facebook, so it says we're live.
Cool. All right. So, hey, thanks
Hey, everybody.
for watching this evening. So we're going to do something that's not employer related for a change. So that gets a little boring. Resumes, Pete, we can only do that so many times. How to interview.
So can I.
Amazing.
Oh,
I mean, it's a squeaky wheel. We get it. So we're going to change things up here every now and then. So just to give you guys a little background, some people may be new to Battle Buddies, but our purpose is to give you a daily purpose through employment and give you the means necessary to make that happen a little bit easier by giving you the tools on how to interview better, hints on your resume, how to network within our vet community, all those types of things. So I brought some service organizations in here that you guys need to consider either getting with them or getting into something like it, or maybe even starting your own chapter in your area. So we've got some pretty cool stuff. We've got Team RWB in here tonight. We've got some hunting guys. So when we're talking about exercise and firearms, everybody but the Navy, Air Force maybe, should be cool with this one. So we're going to talk about slaying deer and slaying 5Ks, I guess, right, Jason? So what I'd like to do is get everybody to kind of introduce themselves this evening. We're going to put up everybody's service organization, how to contact them. And I know Gordon's really good at doing fundraising stuff, so I'm sure he'll be plugging his fundraising stuff here this evening. So Gordon, since I threw you under the bus already, we'll just start with you to get going.
All right, hello everybody. I'm Gordon Melton. I'm the creator and president of Hunting with Soldiers, www.huntingwithsoldiers.org, and we also are on Facebook group. We have a page. Look up the group. We don't keep up with the page, but what we do all expense paid hunting and fishing adventures for combat veterans. It does not matter what war you fought in, and we do not require you to be injured in combat, because PTSD is the unseen injury, and the PTSD has no time frame. You know, our Vietnam vets, when they go to bed at night, a lot of times that war's going on. Our whole focus is to help with PTSD, to overcome PTSD, to get combat veterans out with other like-minded individuals, other combat veterans, so they can open up with each other and they can know that they're not alone in this fight, and hopefully give them hope. And if we can save at least one of the 22 a day, we've done our, you know, what we've set out to do. But I mean, wish we could save them all. But just, you know, check us out. There are a lot of wonderful organizations out there. But always feel free to reach out, and remember that, like I was telling these guys earlier, PTSD is a war waged upon you by your demons. No war's been won by one person, so reach out. You can't win the war alone, so you have to have a lot of people to win it with you.
So we'll stick with the hunting theme to get going. Bo, do you want to come off mute and introduce yourself and organization, please?
Absolutely. I'm Bo Bowen. I am on the board for MoVets Outdoors here in the great state of Missouri. And we try to create partnerships with veterans through community and connection, right, by getting people outdoors. And we're not specifically a hunting organization. There are a lot of great organizations that do, you know, hunting adventures. While we do a lot of duck hunting, we do a lot of pheasant hunting and those types of things. We look at fishing. We're working on a cornhole tournament. We actually connected a young lady with falconry. All we try to do really is get people up off the couch and spin that single thread of hope they need to get through the next week, day, hour, next 3 minutes to make good decisions about themselves, right? Ultimately, we're just trying to connect people with similar experiences, allow them to share We had a great opportunity a few weeks ago where we were able to connect two people on different units in the same battles in Afghanistan, and to figure out they lived 2 hours away from each other and they hadn't seen each other in 10 years. I mean, so we're doing a lot of great things here in the state of Missouri.
It's awesome. Okay. Jason, also known as Laura this evening. You mind introducing yourself?
My name is Jason Verkus. I am with Team RWB in Minneapolis. We are just one of the chapters in Minnesota. We actually have 3 chapters in the state, and we are a nationwide organization to include a couple chapters over in Europe by some of the active duty bases over there. Our goal is to enrich veterans' lives, reconnect them to the community through mostly exercise and different community projects for those that don't exercise. Here in the Twin Cities, we have things 3-4 nights a week that range from yoga to walks to runs to rucks. As we come out of COVID, we're getting into more things, more of the community service stuff that's going to start opening back up. Feed My Starving Children and stuff like that. So we have lots of different programs just here in Minneapolis that can get the veteran and the civilian alike. We're free to join for both. You can't reconnect into the community without the help of civilians and veterans together. So you need both of them. But wherever you are, there's a good app out there. We're teamrwb.org. You can download the app, and no matter where you are in the country, if there's a chapter by where you're at, you can click on that app and find stuff to do with that chapter, what nights they're having it and stuff like that. It's really good for different vets around the country and people that are traveling and stuff like that. But I think that pretty much sums up what we are in a nutshell.
Nice. Okay, Sarah, I know you're Battle Buddy alum here. What kind of a question do you think we should be asking these guys? Why is it important that somebody get involved with one of them or something like that? You want to throw some questions out at these guys this evening from your perspective?
Yeah, I would say the first thing is, how do you even convince a veteran who is so far into their head to take the first step off their couch, out of their home, and back to re-engaging with folks? Do you want me to do more? I don't know if I got more right off the top of my head.
Oh, sorry. I got weird stuff going on in the interweb here. So I don't know. Let's go at the national level with Jason. What do you think about that?
Well, a lot of our programs, what we use locally, every chapter is a little different on how they get the veterans out there, and based on where they're at, different things. Locally, what I can say is we do a lot of like activities afterwards. It's not about, it's not just about like the event itself. We'll do things beforehand. We'll meet one-on-one. I've met one-on-one with many of people. I don't want to say peer pressure, but in the military, you get a lot of, hey, he's doing it, I should do it. Talking each other into doing these different things, and and then it gets them out there for that first step, and then they enjoy it. They enjoy the camaraderie and whatnot, and keep coming. But we always try to do a little something before and after each event. So it's not just about the one event. It's about multiple things to get them, if they're not just into exercise and whatnot, to get them there to talk.
So I can speak about myself being involved in hockey here for the last year or so, and it's been interesting to say the least. So never played hockey, probably on skates 5 times my entire life. And I got into the Warrior program here in Minneapolis, and hockey's the byproduct of what we do. So it's that team building, it's the camaraderie, it's the somebody who, may be a dysfunctional vet, right? That can understand what's coming out of your mouth. And I can't tell you how many times when we started this Battle Buddies thing in a small pizza shop here in Minneapolis, we'd have people come in, and the second week that they would be in a room with us, they would say, this is the first time I felt normal since I got out of Afghanistan or got off of active duty or something like that, because they're finally around like-minded people who understand the lingo. Marine and Army's close, right? Navy's its own weird thing. Air Force is a hybrid of the Army, kind of your bastard stepkid thing or whatever, since it came out of the Army. You know, my grandpa was one of those guys who can't trash it too much. What's that, Bo?
I said, that's not fair.
Yeah. So, you know, but the thing is that when you get, you know, a lot of this inner rivalry stuff going on, you know, it just kind of brings back some pureness to your heart. And getting off of the couch is a critical thing for your recovery in PTSD. You know, the further you get away from that flagpole, the better. So Pete, what do you got a question for someone here? You're a good question asker.
Yeah, there's so many possibilities here. It's how do you connect? I mean, how are you finding you're sourcing your target vets?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Thank
How do you guys find your vets down there in Texas, Gordon?
Well, mainly, you know, with the internet mostly, and word of mouth has really worked. I mean, we've been going since 2007, but you know, Facebook, the internet, word of mouth, other vets that's been out with us spreading the word, and you know, and that's how they find out about us. You know, and then you know, we put out that we do have rules. You know, like unfortunately in this business, although there's no paid staff, but in this business you have what you call professional freebies. So you have to weed out those guys so you can get the guys that aren't able to get out with the other organizations who have found you through the internet, who have found you through word of mouth, and that really need to get out there and learn that there are other things to do other than sit on the couch.
Bull, why should somebody come and hang out with you guys? You're on mute right now.
Yeah, we have a good time, right? We're real people. Going out in the outdoors, having a good time. You know, we work with a lot of guys that could be professionals, hunters, or fishermen that'll take folks out and just really give them a good experience, right? Make them laugh. You know, that's one of the key things we use for healing is laughter. It's just an opportunity to, you know, hang out with normal people, girls, guys alike, and just enjoy the outdoors to learn. You know, we try to lower the bar to entry for any event we do, or hopefully do everything for free so folks can just show up and have a good time. We've got some folks addicted to duck hunting, that's for sure. Probably a good 20-25 of our members can't get enough duck hunting, and they've invested way too much money into decoys and whatnot. So we just try to make it an enjoyable, you know, ground level experience, right? Just be real folks, regardless of your history or where you're at. That's all we really sell for the most part, right? It's just getting together and hanging out and maybe shoot some stuff, maybe just freeze to death for a couple hours.
So let me ask you a question on this duck hunting thing. Are you guys field hunting, over water, both? What is it? Oh, you're still on mute.
Yeah, I went to mute real quick because I'm at a location here. We do it all. We do it, you know, from the boat, from the blinds, we do it from the fields. Depends on the season. So we work with local landowners. We have about 5,000 acres here in Missouri that local landowners lend to us to get veterans out to hunt. So we've got places all over on the Missouri River. We'll get out private land. We've planted some sunflower fields to do some dove hunting here shortly in a couple weeks. So it's really whatever your pleasure is, whether it's a quick little squirrel hunt or, you know, an involved 3-day hog hunt. We just try to get people connected and get them back in love with the outdoors and all the pleasures that brings to people.
So Jason, Hey, by the way, if you guys have never field hunted in a coffin, that is the greatest duck hunting ever. You're warm. You can close the thing up so the wind's not blowing on you. It's amazing. Jason, could you kind of talk about what a typical night might look like for you guys when you guys get together, as far as your activities go? And like,
Sure.
fitness level, right? Because usually you guys coming in are at a certain fatness level, and they may think that they need to be at a certain fitness level.
No, we got people in all fitness levels. I myself am not very fit. I'm trying to get back into shape a little bit. Got on the bike for a half hour tonight. It wasn't a lot, but it was a little, but we got people that I'll just do like a Thursday night run around Lake Nokomis. Typically we meet up about 6 o'clock, depending on the season. As the nights get darker sooner, then we'll move it up a little bit. In the winters, we typically move it indoors, but they'll all congregate at the event site. Talk a little about RWB, kind of have just, I don't know, maybe, a little social beforehand. Since we are a national organization, we have a check-in on our RWB app, and then that drives our numbers for donations and stuff like that. After the check-in, we kind of begin the run. Everybody kind of at their own pace. The walkers will kind of go off, and some of the faster people take off, but everybody meets back at the end. And after that, I know at Lake Nokomis, one of our Eagle leaders down there, Dan Zerbis, he likes to bring a couple beers for the people that want to drink. They usually have like a beer, maybe 2 tops, and just kind of converse, like you said, like-minded people. And then that's pretty much the end of the night. I know the Mill City Rucking that we work with down there, Paul, one of our other Eagle leaders, kind of the same thing. I don't think they enjoy a beverage afterwards, but a lot of times they'll go out and maybe have some appetizers, or something like that, and just kind of make it a little social after the event also.
Pete, this sounds like your kind of lifestyle right here. Oh, you're on mute.
So yeah, I'm digging on that. That sounds really appealing.
He's like, they're doing these about a mile from my house too. So I have no excuse to not be showing up. I am busy Thursday with hockey, or I would be there, but I'll get there probably next week. So one thing too that I think is important for a lot of vets to understand when you get involved in these organizations, a lot of times the funding comes from participation levels. So people that donate to these organizations, they like to see that the money's being spent well, and that it's people are participating in it. Gordon, I know you and I have had this conversation in the past, right? About like 990 usage and stuff like that. Don't want to dig in the weeds on that, but what do you see from your org with your hunting program in Texas?
As far as funding,
as far as like how many guys a year you're able to get in, typically program growing or contracting,
yes,
fundraising work.
Well, so far this year we've gotten 44 vets out, but it all depends on funding. That is correct. I mean, we are ran with 100% volunteer staff, but whenever the only thing our veterans do is get to the location of our hunts or fishing trips, and their pay to us is a handshake, and they owe a debt when they leave, and that debt is to live their life till God takes them, not themselves. But it all depends on funding. I mean, if you don't have the funding, you can't do the trips, and you've got to have you've got to have a plan. If you schedule a trip, you better have the funding before that trip, instead of scheduling that trip and think, okay, how am I going to fund this trip? How are we going to do this? And each trip is different. You got trips that cost, $500 to $1,000, and we have trips that cost $8,000 to $10,000. It all depends. Our deep sea fishing trip, we did a total of 9 vets, and then, their spouses as well. But it all depends what you're doing, where you're doing it at. But as far as that, you have to have the funding. And we can't do it without our donors, without our supporters, and they're the number one they are the, what I call the operator of the tool. You know, the hammer built your house right there, but it's useless without somebody operating that hammer. And so that's what we are. We're nothing but a tool, but we are useless without our donors and our supporters who operate that tool to make that tool work.
So let me ask this to all three of you guys. I've seen this. It's always when we were doing in-person Battle Buddies, it was week 3 when the smiles would come out. So there's so many times where we'd have guys walk through the door that, you know, the look, right? They're not in a good place. And when you're forced to look for a job, that's one of the shittiest things you can do, you know, have to go through in your life. And they just come in with a different look on their face. And then it was always week 3, like you'd see this little glimmer in their eye, and then you'd start to see a little bit of a smile come out. And then about week 5, like they were in such a great groove where you couldn't stop them, right? Can you kind of talk me through what that looks like, Bo, with your guys? Like, what's that look like when they come in on, you know, hour 0 versus when they go home with you guys? Just so anybody that might be watching this that's thinking about sending some funding in, or maybe you're having a shitty day and you're looking for something to look forward to and you want to reach out to Bo, you can kind of hear what you might get to go through from an emotional perspective.
Yeah, thanks, Chuck. Yeah, I think mostly people that come visit us for the first time, you know, they're really nervous. You know, they're not really sure what they're doing. They might be their first hunt or whatever. We're really just a jovial bunch. We're just hanging out. You know, if you want to shoot, you want to do something, you can. There's no pressure. For the most part, I mean, to coin a phrase, we're really just a bunch of assholes trying to have a good time. And so it's a good crowd to be in. And it's, you know, usually the first hunt, they're willing to come back. And then after the second hunt is when the messages start coming. Where can I help? What can I do? And I think that's really the turning point for the vets a lot is it's not necessarily how can I go. I think you really get them involved when they figure out how they can help. And I think that's what we do a lot is, while we might get them out for a hunt, they want to come out and provide that same experience for others. And that's really where we get that, what you would be your 3-week or 5-week push.
Pete, what percentage of vets that would come into the pizza shop would say, when we ask them what they want to do, I want to help vets? Would you say it's 95 or 100%?
Somewhere between there. Thanks for guiding the answer, but yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, I think the part there, Chuck, you have to be upfront about, you know, we do a lot with mental health awareness, and we do as leaders. And, you know, I'm not the guy from Movets Outdoors. You know, there's a bunch of us that help. It's not because we want to help others. And I think we have to really face the truth that we probably need that help the most, right? So we're already doing the things that everyone else wants to do, right? We're helping veterans. That makes us feel good. So we've got to really take that approach where we're seeing through our eyes their experience and where we were before we had that opportunity to give back, right? And find our center. And that's really what we're selling, right? I need that help just as much as anyone else, if not more. And that's my pathway to healing is to be able to provide that back to the veterans.
Yes, 100% correct. 100% correct.
Gordon, I know I've seen you online say that you get more enjoyment by making these guys dinner than you do going out hunting these days, right?
It's, you know, whenever we're there for them, totally for them. We don't schedule these so we can get a free hunt and all this stuff. We're there to cook for them, clean for them, show them how to clean their animal. We're there for camaraderie. But what Bo said was 100% correct. The best healing you can have is when you're out there helping these guys. I mean, that is the best healing in the world. I mean, I've got our sergeant at arms in our organization had some very severe PTSD. He went on a hunt with us, and next thing you know, he was like, I want to help these guys. And this dude is doing awesome now. All these times he's been out helping these guys has healed him as well. And I tell people I do this for very selfish reasons. And what I mean by that is I love the way it makes me feel right here in the heart. And, you know, because I mean, that's it. it feels awesome. And, you know, I don't use the term paycheck as money. I call paycheck is what you receive in the heart. And when I think one of the best paychecks I've ever gotten was a guy that called me about 3 months after he had hunted with us and stated that before that he was thinking about suicide. He was taking all kinds of medication. His marriage was on the rocks. You know, he wasn't sleeping at night. And now he said, you know, my marriage is great. I don't take half the medication. I sleep every night, and suicide's not even a thought. Now that's a good paycheck.
Right. Not all paychecks are monetized at all.
Exactly.
How about yourself, Jason? What do you see when guys get active with you, kind of, you know, through the process here?
Kind of the same thing, you know, like the other guys. I need it as much as anything. I think as a, you know, prior service NCO, you're always looking out after your people, and that continues even after your retirement. And people that are involved in our organization look out for each other, and I think that that's just inbred in us. But it's kind of the same thing, you know, your first night there, you know, they're kind of a little apprehensive, a little nervous and whatnot. And then you try to get them involved. You obviously carry on a conversation as much as they want you to, you know, you don't try to push those first couple nights. The next week, you know, it loosens up a little more. And yeah, by week 3, 4, 5, you can tell if this is the right thing for them, or if you kind of want to guide them to one of our other events, whether it be a virtual event, or maybe it's just a Saturday morning coffee or something like that we do. It's all over the board. We got some people that are there right away the first night, you know, they know that that's the group for them. But overall, it takes a few weeks for us to kind of get a feel for each other. And, you know, just like a deployment, anything like that, it takes a little bit. And once you get to know what the group can give you and the different personalities and things like that, and the help you need, you seek that out. And it comes at varying stages.
Okay, so here's something that's come up in an organization that I've been here kind of in real time. Let's say that you're RWB, right? But you're quadriplegic. Is there any value for that person to show up? Is there things that they could be involved in if they're completely unable because of some sort of barrier, whether they're not interested in the activities that you're doing, or they physically can't, or is there room for those types of people within your organization, Jason?
Definitely. We got a few people, you know, maybe not to the extent of the quadriplegic, definitely wheelchair bound, walker bound, things like that. We try to get them involved in any way we can, whether it's walking along the wheelchair with the person in the wheelchair. The gentleman with the walker will go out a little bit, come back. They seem to the people that can't participate to the fullest extent in the exercise events seem to go more towards our community service events. Not that they don't come out to the exercise events. That everybody's more than welcome, and we make adjustments for that, whether it's some of the runners don't run, you know, and they walk along, and instead of it being a run night, we just all, you know, just gather with the person that came to the event, whatever they need. But typically we find that if they're not exercise people, then they won't come to the exercise events. They'll come to the other events.
Yeah. Bo, how about as far as you guys go, is there room for people that may not be able to physically participate in your events? I mean, are you guys always open to having people come help from an administrative perspective, those types of things?
Yeah, we just want attitude, right? And need. If you're a quadriplegic, can you come on a duck hunt? You absolutely can. Sometimes getting through the mud and stuff would be difficult, but overall, yeah. I mean, I'll take anybody out on a duck hunt. Doesn't hurt my feelings at all. If you want to be connected and be out with us, dress warm, be ready. I mean, if we to go out in a boat, there may not be facilities, but if we can get you there, one of the things that myself and our EEO officer, Jamie, are really concentrated on is accessibility, right? That's a big point of contention for a lot of folks that want to enjoy the outdoors. So we spent a considerable amount of time trying to figure out how to make our events accessible and try to the very extent understand that while the hunt is why we're there, why we get everybody in the blind or the fishing, it's really that culture and that attitude that makes people come back. And that's really what we're selling. So if you're quadriplegic, you can bring that attitude and that hope, and that's what we need. That's the goal of all of our events.
Well, yourself, Gordon, you have room for some misfit veterans that might be physically impaired, pretty extreme. I mean, you're welcoming, right?
Oh, yes, always. We've had a few. We've had them that's lost their legs. We've had them that were, lost use of the arm and, all that stuff. We had actually two of them to come with us that one lost both of his legs almost to the hip, and he's from Missouri, by the way. And the other one that lost his right eye and partial vision out of his left eye. And that's the most memorable hunt I've ever had. They called each other Cyclops and Scooter. I mean, these guys were crazy. But no, we actually have a wheelchair accessible deer blinds, and we will get them there. And if we get them to a place that does not have a wheelchair accessible deer blind, we'll put a pop-up blind over them, or the same with the boats. If it's a event or if it's something that is where we cannot, we don't have it, accessibility, we're going to find somebody, that can. For instance, I've got a good friend that runs Hell or High Water Outdoors, and he has the boats that go and hell, I slipped my mind, but anyways, he has the airboats, and he gets them out there all wheelchair accessible and everything. So we have directed people to him as well, and we're able to get them out through him. Like I said before, it's not about what we do, it's about who we do it for. If we can find some way to help these people, that's the ultimate goal.
Okay, so if you guys couldn't figure out what I was trying to do there, I was trying to think of worst case scenario, throw everything at you, every excuse not to get your ass out and do something. Is there something more extreme other than you're just dead that you wouldn't be able to participate? Pete, can you think of a scenario that's worse than being a quadriplegic that the Cyclops is Gordon put? I mean, and what do you call him? Stumpy? What did you say? Scooter. Leave it up to veterans, right?
They call themselves that, Cyclops and Scooter, and it was a great.
So this is what you're missing out on, guys. If you stay on the couch, you will never witness two dudes, a Timmy versus Jimmy thing or a Scooter versus Cyclops thing. If you're sitting on your couch, you're hearing about it secondhand. So get off your damn couch and get involved in an organization. So Sarah, do you have any questions for these guys? Usually, I'm sorry, but I had questions I just felt like I had to ask.
It's good. It's great to just learn about all these opportunities out there for veterans. It gets my mind wondering too, like, okay, what do I have over here in South Dakota that's similar or an equivalent to things to get folks out, things to get vets out? We got to really go ahead.
I was thinking that maybe Jason would get you an RWB administrative type of thing going in the middle of South Dakota if you don't have one. Right, Jason?
We actually do. There are a couple groups out in South Dakota, one out towards Rapid City, and I know there is a Brookings group. So,
that's not far.
No, it's only 20 miles. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if you go out to teamrwb.org, you can sign up there. It lists every single chapter in the United States and Europe, and it lists their chapter captains, and it lists what they got going. There's contact info and whatnot. So.
Here, I do have a question. So like hockey, the league I'm in, we require they be service connected, disabled, and have an honorable DD 214. So do you guys have any parameters like that? Like must be a retiree or anything like that. Gordon, I know how you guys run, so you mind disclosing what you guys need?
Yeah, they must be a combat veteran, and if they're chosen, they're required to send a copy of their DD Form 214. We encourage them to black out their service number or social security number. And that way we can verify that they are, because, unfortunately, they're not, everybody is not honest. And if they're still active duty in a combat, and they have been to combat, they just send their either ERB or ORB if they were officer. But, and then, we look at them very well, because we just had the experience of a stolen valor who doctored up a DD Form 214. But anyway,
You're short of a Medal of Honor, if I remember right, correct?
No, he was the Navy Cross, which is just below, right, and Purple Heart and all that good stuff. But anyways, a detective has recently talked to him. But anyways, yeah, they've got to send a copy of the DD Form 214. That way we can verify, and that they are a combat veteran. You've got guys that, I flew an airplane over there. We dropped off, some supplies, and then we came back. So I've been over there. Well, no, that does not put you as a combat veteran. And there are different. One other thing on an exception, they may not have been in combat, but they may have dealt with the wounded or dead as a result of combat. We include those as well, because your medics, your doctors, your nurses in these hospitals where these guys come in, what they see is pretty traumatizing.
Okay, so in modern Army terms, would that be equivalent to like a combat action badge or Marine Corps combat action ribbon, or just combat patch?
Combat, not everybody gets the full kit and caboodle. We look at what their ribbons are, what their awards are.
Okay.
And but just they served in an area, but they never saw combat, or a lot of them, they never even heard a gun shoot. And talking about that, we've had a lot of veterans that can't shoot. But anyway, that's beside the point. But we mainly look at their awards, and like I said, if they actually been to combat action badge, ribbon, and stuff like that. But a lot of them don't actually get what am I trying to say? Well, like your doctors or your nurses or your medical staff, that they're not going to have a combat action badge or a combat action ribbon or anything of that nature. But they witnessed a lot of stuff that we also decided to include in our organization to help them out.
Okay, Jason, how about yourself? What's required for RWB?
RWB just requires pretty much that you have a pulse. Our goal is to reconnect the veteran to the community, and like I think I mentioned earlier, that that connection can't happen without the community as well as the veteran itself. If you are a veteran, you get a free RWB t-shirt. You just have to put that you were a veteran when you register at teamrwb.org. But it's also open to civilians. We have a good number of our chapter here in Minneapolis are civilians. I'd say it's probably a 70-30 split, somewhere in there, of veterans versus civilians. But it's open to everybody. You just sign up and start coming to the events.
Okay, cool. And a lot of people, it's strange. I just had this asked of me text message about battle buddies and civilians. We love our civilians. They're a huge part of the transition. Typically speaking, they're in some key positions that can help make that go very, very smooth. So our page is veteran centric, but we appreciate every single non-vet that comes in here. And the interesting thing on the page that I've noticed over 2 years now, right, and a little bit of change, is it seems like the non-vets step up more to help than the vets do. So I'll just leave that at what that is right there right now. So if you're a vet, you should probably step a game up a little bit. Anyway, Bo, to be involved in your program? What are your program requirements?
We don't have any requirements to participate. We do have a DD 214 requirement to hunt or to be eligible for any of our drawn hunts, where if we have 6 slots for farm in Mexico, Missouri to enter our raffles, which are no cost as a veteran whatsoever, you have to have a DD 214 to go on that hunt. You don't have to have a DD 214 to show up and help us cook, clean, set up, sit with a vet, do whatever. But to be an operational individual on a hunt, to engage, you do need to be a DD 214 holder, or or Gold Star. So Gold Star families are included in what we do. So I don't want to exclude those guys.
Nice, thank you. Pete, do you have any questions for these guys this evening? Anybody?
No, it's more like a comment, man. I mean, hats off to you guys for doing what you do.
Yeah.
I relate to what Gordon said about reward, because I mean, it took a little bit of forcing myself. Forcing is kind of a strong word, but just getting into the habit of participating with Battle Buddies. And now that it's more or less a habit, I like doing it. So I like who I'm doing it for. So
It's important to have something to look forward to, a goal. You should never have all of your goals accomplished. Even you just shouldn't. So, you know, if your goal is to get out in a hunting blind or go walk around the local lakes here in the, you know, Minneapolis area, awesome. I mean, just show up once or reach out once. I don't know how many hands you guys have bitten off in your life, but I've bitten off 0 personally. So it's not going to hurt you to get involved. So you can go out and just be, I used to run triathlons. There's lots of people all around the course cheering you on. And it's amazing what happens. Just get involved, get out of your house. COVID's been nasty for, what are we at, 17 months right now? It's time to hang that shit up and move on and get involved in something, get back to normal, if there is such a thing as normal.
Chuck, one thing that I have, to the people who's never been, you know, in the military that are members here, you know, there's a saying that they've probably heard before. They call it institutionalized. You know, I've said this many a times, and I've even wrote about it. You have an inmate that's been in prison for 20 years, and they get out. Society is completely different. They do not fit into society. Well, the thing is, the same thing happens to a veteran. Veteran goes into combat. They're in there 6 months, a year, or several tours. When they come back, they are not, society doesn't understand them, and they feel like they don't fit in. That is why getting them out with other veterans like themselves is so important. So they know that they have a fellowship. They have people that they can get with. They can call at any time of the night, day, or whatever, you know, when them demons haunt them. And that's the importance of gathering the veterans together in all of our organizations.
Yep, exactly. Does anybody else have any? So if you guys could go and throw out your Facebook page or your website, how to contact you, that'd be great. You can throw it in here, but we'll also put links up here on the Facebook page too. Gordon, you want to throw out your organization's name one last time?
Yes, sir. huntingwithsoldiers.org. And we are the name Hunting with Soldiers. And we also have a Facebook group. It's Hunting with Soldiers, the same thing. So again, huntingwithsoldiers.org. Check us out. We're 501c3 with 100% volunteer staff. It's all about helping our brothers and sisters.
Jason.
Yeah, we have to sign up for Team RWB. It's teamrwb.org. That's our main page that will give you all the chapters around the United States, the events that are going on, any pertinent financial info, our Eagle ethos, the whole story behind RWB, our local contact here is Twin Cities RWB. That's our Facebook page. And those are the two primary communication ways that we use. Other than emails, we do mass emails and stuff like that to come out with our events weekly. But teamrwb.org, our Twin Cities RWB.
Nice. And Bo, how about you?
Hey guys, thanks Chuck. So we've decided to be a little more current. We don't have a webpage. We are only on Facebook right now. So Mo Vets Outdoors, MO as in Missouri, then Vets Outdoors. We got a Facebook page and we've got a bunch of groups going on for our different regions within the state. And you can always email me directly at bo.bowen@movetsoutdoors.com.
Nice, thanks. Okay, well, I think we're well over our 30-minute normal time. Sarah, you failed tonight of cracking knuckles on speed expediting us. But I think
It
that
was too good.
yeah, I think exactly. I think it was time well spent here. So get off your couch. If you can't find something to do. Getting outdoors, getting off your couch. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's running with RWB or shooting shit with Gordon and Bo, cool, you know, or something similar. So, hey, and Gordon, I know a guy that could get you a nice hunt set up for ducks in North Dakota out by Devil's Lake. So we'll talk here in a little bit. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks a
Yep.
lot.
Okay. I'm going to hit stop. So thanks for tuning in this evening. Battle buddies. Have a good evening.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.